Amon is asking me to come see the work of my hands, and he's referring to the roses. And I'm asking him how is it the work of my hands when he's the one who planted them. He's saying because I pushed. I've been wanting roses in our yard because we have lots of yellow flowers, and I just wanted like pinks and reds. I mean, if I found a purple one, that would be amazing. I've seen purple roses at City Hall from what do you call, from the farms in Harare. Anyways, I've been wanting roses in all their colors, peaches, even white. So there's this business place. It has like a nice rose bush outside. And I know the people don't care too much about the rose because it doesn't get watered. It's now been getting watered about by the rain. So I thought they wouldn't care too much if I asked for a cutting. So anyway, I kept saying, Amor, please, can you ask them? And then he was like, no, roses, they grow certain times of the year, not all the time. And then he also didn't have the cutting knife that you use when you are, what do you call it?
Grafting or pruning. Grafting.
The grafting knife. Yeah, he didn't have that. So like if you cut them not well, they won't grow roots. And what did you use? Pliers.
I used the pliers and then we used the knife at home.
Yeah, so anyway, when he came home, he planted me these. He wanted to put them first in the pot because he was worried with too much rain they might what do you call, they might rot.
They'll
So
rot like this.
yeah, like that one.
Because the plastic didn't have a hole.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, he planted me the rose and they have short new leaves. Like these were just like stems with nothing. And the leaves are showing life, and at some point we're gonna stick them in the ground.
Like this one, it's got promise.
Yeah, and that one is promise. I'm gonna love all this color. There was a time when I said like I wanted a whole hedge of the roses, and not very practical. We were thinking that we might plant it in the fence in front of the house, but Amon wanted to put what do you call them? Those beans, butter beans there.
Beans, yeah.
Yeah, because they need like a trellis, so the fence is the trellis. But yeah, going to plant more rose. I'm harvesting myself here flowers for a bouquet. They're not looking the best because they've had too much rain. So these flowers, they always die in winter, and then when spring comes, they come out, and rainy season, they tend to flourish. So the bush was thinner, it's gotten thicker. But the thing is, when you have rain consistently, they rot. It kind of just happens like what happens in winter. So anyway, I decided to come and get myself a bouquet. I don't have the freshest fresh flowers, but any flowers will work. Normally I use a kitchen scissor, but I don't know what I did with it. So I don't know what those flowers are called. I really like how long lasting they are, and they have them in pink as well. I've seen one of our neighbors has them in pink. Whenever I make a bouquet of these, it lasts me something close to 2 weeks, a week and a half to 2 weeks. But since these are a little bit old, I don't know how long they will last me. So yeah, I learned this. I learned flower arranging from Amon, believe it or not. At first I was surprised, like why would a guy know flower arranging? And then I discovered at City Hall you have all these artists who prefer to sell flowers. I don't know if he learned wanting to sell or why he learned. He bought himself a book to teach himself flower arranging. So anyway, those artists at City Hall, they sell for people for functions, weddings, parties, funerals, whether you want a single bouquet for someone special, they do that. And yeah, so, and it's normally men. So yeah, different culture, different ways of doing things. So last year I had a lot of this weed and it reminds me of baby breath. So I put it in the bouquet as well, just to kind of give balance to the, oops, oh gosh. It's too soft. I needed a scissors. I'm going to try and break it nicely. Okay, I've tried to point the camera away from the window so that you don't get too much glare from the window. So I've got the yellow flowers that I was showing you, and I've got the weed, and I know that it looks soft right now, but normally when you put it in water, it perks back up again. If you just give it a little time, it will perk up. It lasts long as well, so I also like to have it in the bouquet. I've got some fan. Some fan is also die hard once it's in the bouquet. So, yeah. So I've got a story to tell you guys. Um, First of all, Amon used to buy me all these expensive bouquets when we were engaged. I'd come to Zim and then he'll buy me a bouquet. And then I'd have to leave it at my friend's house that I would be staying with when I'm visiting. And so even when we got married, he always used to make me bouquets at the church. And I always tease him that he doesn't buy me flowers anymore. And he likes to tease me right back and tell me that he plants them for me now, so he doesn't have to buy them. Yeah. But I have a funny story of when I was growing up. I don't know if it was a true story or not. It was probably just me being gullible. Uh, so I was one day watching on TV. There was this move of Toronto Blessing. If you are a Christian, you probably heard of it. Particularly if you study like revivals. And Toronto Blessing, there was a lot of things happening, including gold dust and stuff. So this lady was just talking about how they've been experiencing gold dust in their Bibles and in just in different places in the church. And then there was a lady in the church who got a gold tooth with a lily carved on it. And yeah, basically what she was trying to say was that God is so extravagant that he doesn't just give you enough. He goes the extra mile basically. And I do like the idea of the extravagance of God. Anyways, this is Toho having a problem with her tooth and afraid of the dentist and praying that God would supernaturally heal her tooth. It was a wisdom tooth, so a tooth at the back. And one day I said to God, God, it doesn't even have to have a lily on it. If it can just be like a gold tooth with no lily on it. So one day I told Amon the story. And he then one day bought me, I think that was my first bouquet actually that he ever bought me. He bought me daisies and they had lilies, and I was super impressed. I was like, oh, I didn't expect the daisy factor particularly. Actually, it was the day we got engaged. Yeah, he gave me daisies and lilies, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I've been trying to learn how to make my own bouquets. I did eventually get the tooth removed, by the way. It was painful. It was painful. But yeah, sometimes God doesn't give us what we want because sometimes what we want may not be good for us. So I think we're kind of looking good. Something like that. Yeah. So that is. Oh, it looks terrible from this side. Let me see. It doesn't actually look bad when I'm looking at it like this. It just looks bad in front of the camera when it's at that angle. I'm gonna show you just now. So this is kind of what it looks like. When I was filming, Amun came and interrupted me, so I had to set down my flowers for a moment. And that's why they're a bit droopy, but I'll show you later when they perk up. So it's the next day. As you can see, the flowers have actually perked up. Yeah, so this is the finished bouquet. And if in the future you're looking for flowers or baby breath, just get in your yard and get some weeds and put a bouquet together. There's this weed as well. It is like brilliant between orange and red, that I've made a bouquet out of, and I'm looking for it now. That we had last year. We burnt our yacht, and it possibly won't grow because it hasn't come out with the rain. But if I see it somewhere, I'm going to put together another bouquet and show you. So it's been a minute since I've washed windows. If you notice, the windows are too low to the ground. Normally, when it rains, the mud splashes and splatters onto the glass, and the windows are dirty. Since we've been having rain consistently for weeks, I just figured I'll just wait until we have a break from the rain to continue. Otherwise, it's only going to get muddy again. And having dogs, normally, Moana actually thinks she's clever. She can open the windows by herself, and the hopping in and out. Whenever it rains, they get their paws in the mud and they handle the windows again. And so I just wanted that moment to pass. So if you'll notice, I'm using a dishwashing liquid to wash because it leaves glass brilliant. And also rinse with the hose. We have that convenience because we don't have tiles in the house. There'll be a time when we have tiles that I won't be able to do that. But for now, the ground is concrete, and in fact, it does benefit from having water. And the other thing that you'll probably notice is that I've been wiping the windows with an old t-shirt. It works better than what a mutton cloth would. A mutton cloth would leave remnants of cloth on the windows, and an old t-shirt is able to absorb that water and leave the windows shiny. So that's how we do that. A lot of people will use newspapers, but we seem to not read newspapers in our house. And yeah, so that's why we use an old t-shirt. So Amon has already started weeding the side. He's been weeding among his vegetable beds, and he's been weeding the side. And he's been talking about going to the farm, but he keeps procrastinating. I keep telling him he's going to lose the day and then he's going to feel like he can't go. He wanted to go today. Today's Wednesday. So that he can take Thursday and Friday off. But he's still here and it's 12. I don't know if he'll go. Will you go? Huh? Will you go to the farm? I'll see. It does make a person lazy to go in the afternoon when you think about starting work in the afternoon.
Yeah, I wanted to push up to the fence.
Okay.
And that portion there.
Okay. So I've been wanting to do this backyard for days, and yeah, we keep having other things cropping up. Yeah, so I'm gonna use the hoe. I like the hand hoe. It's easier. I have to bend lower and it kills my back, but it's easier than this one. This one feels like a true exercise. But when it's wet, you can pull. Some of the weeds can just come out by pulling. But it's not wet, so we might have to work a bit harder. Quick snack for lunch. I've got my Zoe and popcorn. So Amon started this morning weeding for these beds, potatoes, green pepper, and green beans. And then he went around all the way there weeding, and all the way here he weeded around this flower bed and decluttered. Still a work in progress. Yeah, and so he went around and weeded around here. There's still a few weeds left here, but it's nothing much. And yeah, he came to the edge of the house and he's here, and he's been decluttering all the stuff that's been here. But I started on this patch here, but I was busy in the house while Amon was out here, so I've just joined him. It doesn't feel like We've been here a while. I've been struggling with the other hoe. I didn't feel like it was moving fast enough, and we swapped. He gave me his one. It feels lighter and it has a wider face and it's sharper. So this one here. So since I started using this one, my work has improved. But yeah, I'm going all the way to the fence there. It's quite hot, eh? It's hot. It started being hot early morning. It's a hot day. But the plants are happy. They've been needing sunshine. Um, so this grass that I'm weeding, the locals call it edu. And so in the when you say to taita, it's like to finish. So I wonder if it's because it finishes your energy as you do it. Actually,
Might have a point.
actually, it's usually harder to get rid of. It's coming out better now because what you go because the ground is a bit moist. But yeah, generally it is hard. I'm not saying I'm not hoeing nicely. I'm digging the ground, but it is hard. So this is why you'll never see like people in the village walking for exercise.
That's true.
Because everything they do is exercise. Whether they fetch water, it's exercise. And if they don't work at home, if they work at the farms, that's hard work. They work in town, they have to spend all day on their feet and they walk far to catch the bus. So yeah, it's called rural life.